What I see a need for is a village. I see a need for women to get together for conversation where we focus on a topic. Now, it's not a lecture series. I may talk a little bit, but it's really about all of us addressing what deserves more attention than it gets in our busy day to day. We forget that our nervous system is actually running everything. We think, because of our enlightenment background for hundreds of years now, that our brains are running the show. If our brains were running the show, as long as you're smart, you wouldn't have any problems. Your brains are not running the show. Your nervous system is running the show. And so part of what I want to do is help women understand that and not feel guilty or somehow wrong or weird that they can't like control everything about how they respond to the world. And that there are practices that help you like rest back into your body. There are practices that can bring you back online so that you are thinking and responding calmly and rationally because your emotions in your body are being honored and allowed to do what they're meant to do. I felt in myself a slow leaking and then suddenly the disappearance of my enjoyment of my own life. I felt like tasks and checklists and the needs of everybody around me and my actually real desire to accomplish things and to prove myself. And then just the complexity of our world, all of it just seemed to roll up on me gradually and then suddenly. And it felt like the pith of my life had somehow disappeared. And while I worked my way back to living in what I think of as a very joyful, conscious way, I started noticing around me that I wasn't alone. And the more that I talked about the fact that I was struggling, the more community I found. What I had hidden and thought of as vulnerability turned out to be a superpower. And now I want to make this available. I want to consciously create a village for women to gather, yes, virtually, but more accessibly to practice conscious, examined, fun living. And the way I want to do that is through several different writers that I find to be really nourishing, and also things as simple as breath and somatic exercises that bring us back into ourselves so that we can reconnect with our bodies and not be so stuck. Part of what I realized is that I was really stuck up in my thinking brain and had somehow left my body. And the more I was able to arrive back in my body, the happier I became and the more able I was to be resilient in the face of challenges, because those slings and arrows are coming. They're just coming. And the more I build people around me who understand and want to have more than a 10-minute hello, how are you? A real conversation, maybe an ongoing conversation that we pick up multiple times until we've really chewed through something. I want to make that. I am making that. I've already been making that, but I want to formalize it. This women's circle is for thoughtful women seeking community who are curious and kind and feel a bit alone in that, who feel it's hard to be fully transparent in their day-to-day life because it's too fast, or they don't feel like they can be fully vulnerable. I would say this woman is probably a reader. This woman is probably quite accomplished, but also that accomplishment isn't necessarily professional. It might be artistic. It might be in the way that they have cared for and raised up a family or been there for elders. It also might be somebody who has gone through a very difficult change or some trauma. This group isn't therapy, but it's love. This women's circle is offering gifts. The first one just might be a sense of clarity that you're visible, that you're real. That may sound a little strange, but I think a lot of us start to feel like we're not even visible, especially after a certain point in our lives. If you're over a certain age, you may you may feel a little bit invisible. So you're going to feel visible. You're going to feel real. You're going to feel like you are learning in a very digestible way. And if you already know something that we're talking about, then you will be somebody who is offering more depth on whatever that topic is. A sense that even when the world is uncomfortable, complex, cruel, chaotic, and frightening, that doesn't mean you can't be full of fun and joy and silliness. People have been through all the terrible things ever since there have been people, and stripping joy and fun out of your life, out of some misplaced sense that we must stay serious because of how serious things are. No, I just say no. I say nay. So that's what you're going to get. You'll get more than that. Each meeting will start with a quick hello. Anybody needs to share anything, to catch us up. We'll do some centering and grounding with breath and maybe a very small physical somatic practice. Month by month, we will have topics such as, where did I go? How did I lose myself and how do I get back? Such as Kate Bowler's new book, Joyful Anyway. She does some wonderful writing about being this incredibly ambitious and accomplished scholar who had just gotten her dream job and had a baby and a husband, and then she got stage 4 cancer. So, pretty much clubbed over the head with difficulty. And that in that challenge, she actually found a deeper well of joy when she thought she already lived a really conscious, joyful life. And then the discussion begins. And we can talk about what joy actually is, which I believe wholly is a posture. And at a certain point, we will stop that and sort of gather up what everybody's had to say if we've broken into groups, talk through that, and then I'll close us out. We may have little rituals that make it feel like we have come into our space and then we're leaving our space. I've been thinking about that. But that's what it's going to be like. And I'm really excited about the opportunity to gather together women in my life, both my nearest and dearest, closest people, as well as those that are in sort of circle 2 and circle 3, who want to come in and do something like this, who are thoughtful, intelligent, seeking, and while they have a great sense of humor, also damn serious about enjoying this next chapter of their lives. Joy is a choice. Joy is a choice. It's a posture. And it's accessible when you understand what it really is. Joy isn't this like glee, happiness that just passes. Happiness literally means passing. Happenstance is also the same root. Joy is something deeper. It's something you choose, and you can fill yourself up and nourish yourself so that you can maintain that and have that posture. Hope is a practice. They're very aligned. Hope is a practice. It also is a posture. Hope isn't some squishy rainbows and unicorns idea. It is something you work at, something you do day after day after day. You build that practice so it becomes part of how your body moves through the world. It's almost like building a habit. When you build a habit, part of why it works is that your body is like, this is what we do now. So if you want to feel better about the world that you're in and understand that all of your actions and attitudes are rippling out into the world, your hope is a practice. What do you want to see happen in the world? Be that, think that, act that. Find your tribe and do it with them.